So in this project, I'm going to be wiring up these two US Soft Touch elevator buttons. I've done a video on US Soft Touch in the past. However, I feel like this video will show a couple of other ways to hook up these buttons for some different types of wiring configurations. So let's get started. So in my last US Soft Touch wiring video, I showed wiring this terminal call station that has a key to enable the button. In this instance, we have yet another terminal call station with a key, but this one has a fire service key instead of the call key switch. And then additionally, we have an intermediate call station. So we'll begin this project with the terminal call station first, as this one is most like the other one that I did. So this particular button you can see has a lot of wear on it, especially with the button itself. A lot of the black paint has worn off. You can still see the arrow, but it definitely doesn't look that great. I don't have a great method of restoring this at the moment, but maybe someday I will. I might use some black paint to try to make this look a little bit better, but for now, we're just gonna leave it as is. And down here is the fire service key switch, and I do plan to implement this in the project. So turning the fire key switch to on will just make the button light up. And then I'm not going to make bypass do anything. So turning this to the back reveals all of the wiring, and conveniently all of these wires are nice and labeled for me. Now the wiring for a terminal call station is going to be just like I showed in my other video, and on my website I do have a schematic which shows the wiring for the terminal call station, so be sure to check that out if you are wiring one of these yourself. I'm not going to go into too much of the wiring for this one just because it's similar to the other video, so I'm going to make it where pressing the button does light it up, but then also adding the key switch in to make it light up when you turn the key. And one last thing before I start, I did mention this in the other video, but these buttons do run on 24 volts. So I'm going to be using some of these A23 batteries. These are 12 volt batteries. So two of those here will create the 24 volts. These are LED bulbs, so they don't draw a lot of current. So it'll work fine for this project. So the first button is now complete, and you can see here if I press in on the button, it lights up and it does the little pulse just like these buttons behave. If we take the key and turn it to on, you can see it lights up as well, and it only works in the on position. So that's very nice. However, I kind of don't really want this just sticking out like this. So I 3D printed a box. That looks a lot better. So now that this one's done, it's now time to wire up the second one. So this button's going to be wired just a little bit differently than the terminal, but this is going to be set up in the same way that you would wire up any other intermediate call station. You would wire it exactly like you would for the terminal, except jump 2 wires, which appear to already be here, to the other button and do the exact same thing. As an example, here's just a quick schematic that kind of shows this. So for this particular button, as I take a close look at it, there are wires already labeled here, so plus 48. So it actually looks like these buttons can handle up to 48 volts according to this. There is a common, there's up, and there's down. So the up and the down wires are the ones that I won't be using, because these would be the ones that go to the controller so that it knows you pushed the button, and it would also keep the light lit up. And then 48 and common are what are actually hooking together the switches and the LEDs. So this one's actually a lot easier just because most of it's done for me. So I'm going to snip off the down, snip off the up, and then on the plus 48, I'm just going to trim it down a bit and connect the battery pack. Same thing for the common. And just like the other button, I 3D printed a box. So that is all for this project of wiring up 2 US Soft Touch buttons. Now I have 2 more of these fixtures to add to my collection, which is Pretty cool. If you haven't seen the first US Soft Touch wiring video, be sure to check that out because I kind of break these down a little bit more and kind of explain more how they work. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next project video.